Yalalai, yalalai, lai, lai, lai. Lai, 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 lai.
One more time.
Lai, lai, la, lai, la, lai. Lai, lai, la, lai, 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 lai. Yalalai, 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 lai, lai, lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Lai, lai, la, lai. Yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, lai, lai. Yai, lai, la, lai. Yai, lai, la, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, la, lai. Yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, lai, lai. Yai, lai, la, lai. Yai, lai, la, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, la, lai, 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 lai.
Back to the top.
Yai, lai, la, lai, la, lai. Yai, lai, la, lai, 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 lai. Yalalai, 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 lai, lai, lai. Yai, lai, lai, yai, lai. Yai, lai, lai. Yai, lai. Shabbat Shalom. Man, oh man, oh man, look at this. Look at us outside, sitting at the entrance. You know, it's a beautiful, beautiful day. Reminds me of the opening of a psalm that says, Zeh hayom asa Adonai nagila v'nismecha vo. This is the day that God has made. Let us rejoice and celebrate in it. Now, you might say, well, we're supposed to recite that every day. So how could every day be that day? But every day, the tradition tells us, is the first day of creation. That is to say, we have the opportunity every day, to the best of our ability in the place where we live, to redefine who and what we are, and to embrace the world in all of its ragged intensity, and to make it a slightly more potentially beautiful place, even if the space in which we do that is so very small, like quark size, you know, which is not so big. So here we are, all kinds of people from all different kinds of places. We're celebrating multiple simchas at once, which is the best way in the Jewish tradition. Take a lot of good stuff, and one piece on the other just makes it grander and more beautiful. And so we have two Benot Mitzvah tomorrow. As our friend James Naherney says, it's a double header. And also, we have our fifth grade class, our end of the year fifth grade class, who's gone through a year of learning and has gone through really wonderful indoctrination. And we are so proud of where they've come out on this end. As you might imagine, those of you who have ever been in Hebrew school or have children who have been in Hebrew school or are currently in Hebrew school, you know it is an ongoing testimony to every teacher to make it relevant and meaningful and purposeful. And we have done our best to do that. We do that. We try it every year, and every year we hope it's getting a little better. Or as Paul McCartney said, it's getting better all the time. And the other thing that we're celebrating, of course, is the graduation of our Midrashah 12th graders. And I cannot say enough about the naches, which is one of the greatest Yiddish words ever invented. The term in Hebrew, nachat ruach, good, soulful feeling, doesn't get it really, the Yiddish naches. Naches is the benefit you get from putting your heart and soul into something. Naches is the bubbles of good champagne. It's just something you can't describe, but you feel it and you know it. Such is our feeling about our graduates. I'll talk a little bit more about them in just a bit. But right now I want to say Shabbat Shalom to everybody. And I would like to ask our Benot Mitzvah to please come up with your parents and sibling. And if you'll stand on this side, where the candles are generally located. So they've never practiced this before. It's antiphonal reading and responsive reading. And when we have as James says, doubleheader, we make that challenge significant. But I have a feeling, given these two families, the Boteens and the Simons, that they will, as they always do, rise to the occasion right after this helicopter. Don't worry, it's just a dark ops helicopter. We're good. And I'm going to just put this microphone in, so generally hoping that the people at home will hear you. You begin together.
Dear God, we come here tonight to give thanks to you on this Shabbat evening before our daughter's Simcha. We thank you for our temple, where we open our hearts to you.
We thank you for the traditions that bring us together, linking the generations.
We are so thankful for the gifts of good health and strength bestowed upon our family.
Grant Orly a life of joy and sustenance.
Grant Ella the ability to see what must be done.
Give all our children the strength to shoulder the burdens they will undoubtedly encounter along the way.
Give them the tools to learn and grow. Give them the time to become wise and gentle.
Help our daughters to be brave in the face of danger, calm in the moments of confusion, strong in the face of conflict.
Give all of us on this Shabbat the blessing of rest and gladness. May all of us celebrate wonderful moments in our lives, moments of passionate learning, meaningful encounters, and goodness. Shabbat Shalom.
Amen. Stay right where you are. Everyone at home, if you will, if they can hear me. Oh, hold on a second. I always forget that. For all of you at home, it's time to light your Shabbat candles, and we invite you to do so with these two wonderful families.
Join me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Now hugging and kissing can commence, and they can go back to your seats. Mazel tov. Part of the tradition that we share in these graduations that we've done for over 20-odd years is to invite each of our graduates to say a few words to you about who and what they are through the lens of being connected to this temple, the Temple Beth Avodah. And I would like to invite our first speakers to come forward.
Hello. All right, I'm Brady. Hi. So, in my ethics class at school, we spent a lot of time this year discussing what makes a good and happy life. While this seems like a pretty subjective question, the one factor that seems to be consistent in every reading or study is the need for relationships of virtue. These are relationships that bring us pleasure and enjoyment, but also allow us to grow as people through intimate and constructive interactions. These are friendships that encourage us to look out for one another. These are bonds that might make us have uncomfortable but necessary conversations when they're needed. These are connections that evoke emotion through heartfelt moments that we share together. If I were to answer the question of what does being Jewish mean to me, I would say that being Jewish means taking part in a community that fosters these relationships of virtue. For it is these relationships that inspired me to be on the bagel board for 4 years. It is these relationships that kept me coming back to Midrasha every Monday night and motivated me to go to Israel. When I come to the temple, I'm surrounded by people who want to see me grow, people who will listen to me, people who will check me when I say something out of place and help me learn from it, people who care about how I feel, and that is what being Jewish means to me. Being Jewish to me is knowing that everyone here wants you to succeed, that everyone here is looking out for you, that there will always be someone to listen to you, and of course, that the light is always on. As I look now at my fellow graduates and the temple staff that have seen me grow up over the years, I think back to all the smiles we've shared, all the laughs, and even all of the serious conversations about pressing issues and current events we've had together. I think back to all the silly moments we've had on the couch in the bagel room, staying up until 2 a.m. at the shulin, looking up at the stars on the roof of a hostel in Jerusalem, and eating pizza on Monday nights. And as I look at the fifth graders here today, the one piece of advice I would give them is to take the time to establish these relationships with the kids in your grade now. These are the kids you're going to be eating dinner with every Monday night for the next 6 years of your life. The one mistake I made early on was viewing my friends here as temple friends, when in reality, they've always been my friends just as much as any other, if not closer. So again, to my fifth graders here, invest the time and the effort necessary into these relationships because you will truly value them for the rest of your life. I would like to thank Rabbi Stern for being a guiding hand to me for these past few years, and I've always followed your advice very closely, and will continue to use your words as guidance through future endeavors. I'd like to thank Miriam for being there for me these past 4 years. We entered Bagel together, and now we're both leaving together, and I will definitely miss you a lot. I'd like to thank my parents for continuing to encourage me to go to temple post-bar mitzvah. I specifically remember being on the bima at my bar mitzvah and asking my mom, does this mean I don't have to go to Hebrew school anymore? And I'm eternally grateful that you guys didn't let me fall through with that. And lastly, I'd like to thank everyone here in my grade. You guys are the reason I come back here every week because I know that every moment with you guys will be something special. Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom. My name is Ben. The oldest picture in my phone is from September 2008, and it's a picture of 5-year-old me alongside 5-year-old Brendan Weissel and 5-year-old Charlie Zucker. Over 13 years later, the three of us, despite living in what feels like a much larger and different world, we're still connected and we're still friends. If it weren't for Temple Beth Avodah, I'm not so sure that would be the case. TBA has given me, along with everyone else graduating this year, many gifts. But if I had to put my finger on the most important thing we've all been given, I would easily choose the connections and the relationships. And in my opinion, these are what Judaism is all about. Last summer, I went to Israel for 5 weeks with my age group from camp. And originally we were supposed to go during the summer of 2020, but due to the pandemic, it got delayed. For almost that entire extra year that we had, I was really worried because I hadn't seen any of these people in so long. and I was worried that going back to them and seeing them after 2 years would feel like the weirdest thing in the world. But to my surprise, we reunited at the airport and everything instantly clicked. It was as if no time had passed since the last time we saw each other. It's been almost a year now since the trip, and the people that went, some of them people that I'd never expect myself to get close with, have become some of the closest friends I've had in a really long time. Reflecting on the trip, there is no doubt in my mind that Judaism played a huge factor in forming such deep bonds. While our interests, experiences, and homes are differed, our connections to Judaism, no matter how big or how small, gave us ways to relate to each other. Although I wasn't with my temple, going back to Israel gave me much more perspective on just how much TBA and Judaism in general has shaped my life. So if I had to give one line of advice to fifth graders of TBA, I would say to persevere through that bar or bat mitzvah, continue with temple through midrashah. I promise, it's way more fun. And take advantage of the relationships and connections that are all around you.
Hi, I'm Brooke. Going to Temple Beth Avoda has always been something that the other kids envied. We got to walk on Tuesdays to pizza lunch. The safety drills for Memorial Spalding were in our parking lot. Typical things an elementary school kid would envy. The thing that I never noticed until last year was that this TBA legacy carried on throughout high school. When I would tell kids I still went to Hebrew school as a high schooler, I always got the same response. Why? I always felt the need to explain that I started enjoying Hebrew school the most just after bar and bat mitzvah season finished. Our grades got smaller and our bonds got stronger. People consistently replied with the same thing. Oh, you go to that temple. I've grown up here. From the talking holidays to my bat mitzvah to giving my farewell speech right now, I can confidently say I've seen quite a number of renovations take place here. Of course, my friends have always been there on Monday nights to hang out with me, a typical teenager thing you could say, but I've never seen such a large group of adults take such an interest in teenagers' lives. The teachers and staff here are constantly searching for ways to improve our experience, and it shows. Whether that be finding time for a trip to Black Tap Burgers freshman year, or consistently checking in during a global pandemic to see if there are ways that they can still support you. Well, I have spent 18 years here, and it's bittersweet to move on to the next chapter of my life. I will still proudly tell kids at my school, yeah, I go to that temple.
Folks, if you'll, which way is east? This way? Thank you. I don't know left from right, so thank you. So if you'd rise as you're able and face east. Baruchu
Et Adonai,
et Adonai HaMevorach
Baruch Adonai,
Baruch Adonai
HaMevorach,
HaMevorach Leolam Vaed Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed Yai lai 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 ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la la. Fifth graders, if you would please come up to the table.
Bring your notebooks with you.
This solid group of graduating fifth graders, these budding scholars and successful titans of industry, are on the way and on the road, and they are delightful human beings. And we have had some of the most extraordinary conversations with them over the course of this year. And it's an honor that they are here, this connection. For those who have graduates, if you look at the size of these children, except for this girl that's taller than I am at this point, but which is a cool thing, by the way. But they're all these gentle, sweet souls, and we feel honored to be their teachers and to see them as part of this great community.
Start with Ahavat Olam. Go back one page.
Show us the way, teaching us to number our days, when we rise and when we lie down. Ahavat Olam,
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Ahavah, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim,
Anu Day and night, show us the way, teaching us, number our days, when we rise and when we lie down. Ahavat Olam.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch
Kehomauto me'olam va'ed.
And we continue with Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta
154.
Et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha
U'bechol nafshecha U'bechol
me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher Anohi mesavecha hayom al levavecha v'shimantam banecha v'dibartam bam
V'shivtecha b'bitecha U'lecha b'derech
u'shokbecha u'vkumecha u'kshartam le'ol al edecha
V'hayu l'totafot b'neinecha
u'ktavtam
al
mizot
mezuzot beitecha U'visharecha
למען
תזכרו ועשיתם
את כל מצוותיי
Vitem kedoshim lelohem.
Ani Adonai Elohim. Asher tietem me'eretz Mitzrayim leot lahem lelohim. Ani Adonai Elohim. Adonai Elohim.
Right here. Now we're going to teach you about what is Ve'ahavta with our hands, and we're going to teach you what is Ve'ahavta with our hands and our voices. I'll take over the mic so you can use your hands here. Oops, you have to be on this one. Ready? Let's make sure the people at home can hear us. Yeah. Wait. Here we go.
La 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la. And you shall love with all of your heart, your soul, and with all of your might. And you shall teach your children to hope, to love, and to know what is right.
Everybody help us. Yalala. We're going to play our harps.
Ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la.
Such great learning, our fifth graders, and really a huge shout out to the fifth grade teachers and all of the teachers at our religious school. And thank you so much, fifth graders. You can go back to your seats. Beautiful job. Beautiful.
Hi, my name is Charlie. As a young kid, I vividly remember crying, running away, and protesting my dad every time he would take me to Sunday school. I even got mad when he would make me go to bagel events freshman year. Starting sophomore year, however, my viewpoint completely changed. I started going to temple every Monday for Midrashah, as well as all of the bagel events. February of sophomore year, we went as a grade to Israel. This was my first time traveling with a group of kids and not just a family trip. This was the most fun I had had in a long time. As I was deciding what I wanted to do in my first year out of high school, I had this in the back of my mind, and it was a large part in me making the decision to take a gap year and travel with other kids my age instead of just going to college. I would like to thank Temple for being a huge part of my development as a human being and for giving me so many friends and memories. If you are in 6th or 7th grade, I strongly recommend that you start going to Midrashah as often as you can, as it creates a great community and space for whoever is a part of it, and it truly is a special place. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nora Fine. I've been going to Midrashah since 9th grade when my family was new to Beth Avodah. I wasn't sure I would fit in, as my family hadn't really been active when I was younger, much beyond high holidays, and I was never bat mitzvahed, but I did. Everyone was so welcoming, and I didn't feel left out at all. Even though most of the time people knew much more Hebrew than me and could recite the prayers effortlessly, no one was judging. The people I've met here have been amazing friends. It's been nice to get to know people from other schools and surrounding towns. I've loved getting to know Miriam and the other kids in my grade over the years. We have been on a few adventures and seen some beautiful things. I have loved the New York trip and Israel and will hold those memories in my heart forever. I will always remember the bus rides to new fascinating places, bobbing in the Dead Sea side by side, and laughing until our ribs hurt at dinner. Things like that are what Beth Avodah means to me. It has brought me much closer to my identity and to my community. Thank you. Also to the 5th graders, it may seem just like Monday nights, but it's so much more.
Hi, I'm Sydney. A lot of the reason I am who I am today is because I'm Jewish. Jewish values and Jewish communities have made a huge impact on my life. My journey started at TBA in the preschool. In preschool, I met some of my childhood best friends, braided challah, played princess on the playground, and even earned my very own license to properly use scissors. I still have my scissor license to this day. However, my journey didn't really begin at the preschool. My family has belonged to this temple since 1973. That's a pretty long time, and I hope to continue that timeline when I'm older. The temple has been a foundational stepping stone to forming my Jewish identity. I learned about the history of our people, and I learned how to read Hebrew. It's given me countless opportunities like traveling to Israel and planning fun events through Bagel Board. Another place I attribute to helping me form my Jewish identity is Camp Pembroke, an all-girls Jewish camp in Pembroke, Massachusetts. I started going there when I was 8, and I will be returning this summer as a second-year counselor. A song we sing at camp is called Wherever You Go by Larry Milder. It has stuck with me. It goes like this. Wherever you go, there's always someone Jewish. You're never alone when you say you're a Jew. So when you're not home and you're feeling some kind of newish, the odds are, don't look far, because they're Jewish too. The lyrics in this song are true. I know that being Jewish gives me a small but mighty community wherever I go. Next year, when I go to college, I plan on joining Hillel. It's comforting to know that I already have some sort of a community in such a new place. I want to thank everyone at the temple for making it such a strong community and helping me become the person I am today. I look forward to returning next year and seeing you all again. And then, if there's one thing I could tell to my 5th grade self, it's that everything is going to work out. That doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but you'll always come out the other side. Maybe that something is your Barb Mitzvah, which I know some of you are going to be studying for next year, or maybe you're studying for it now. It may seem like a lot of work, but I promise you the day you get there, you'll be fine and it'll all be worth it. Thank you.
I've got my ending song.
Oh, I figured you did. It is impossible, of course, to be together and not think so much about those who don't have near the good fortune that we do right now. People who are in places of war and strife and pain, which I hope makes this moment sweeter for us to understand that we have this blessing, this true blessing, to be together and to never take it for granted because it is so precious. And when you speak to people that have lost it, one of the first things that refugees talk about is the sense of home, the sense of community, the sense of connection. And that we have that is something extraordinary. It's a true blessing. Hashki Venu, which is on page 162, is all about the sense of blessing that when we go to bed at night, we put our head on the pillow and we pray that when we wake up, things might be a little better. Will they? Won't they? Well, that's the big question. That's the big gamble. But that's what we pray for and hope for every day. Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom
Hamidenu Shomrei Nu Lechaim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom Hamidenu Shomrei Nu Lechaim Ushmor Tzedenu Lechaim Shalom Me'ata Ve'ad Olam 160 actually. Ashkive. Sorry about that, Matt. Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim.
Hello. So my name is Jacob Deitch. Thank you. Good. All right. Sorry. When I reflect back at my time at this synagogue, I'm forced to ask myself the question, what does being Jewish mean to me? I mean, it's a really hard question to answer because there is no right answer. Well, usually. And I don't know that many people really find that answer unless, they follow a certain lifestyle and never really deviate from it. I, on the other hand, have shifted a lot along the scale of what does Jewish identity, going from originally hiding my Jewish heritage, fear of sticking out amongst my peers. I remember as early as even kindergarten facing anti-Semitism in my school, since my part of Boston isn't particularly Jewish. And, since it isn't really that Jewish, I didn't really have really much I could do about it. However, it was only after years of going to the synagogue, learning the prayers, the Hebrew alphabet, possibly most of all, being around my Jewish peers, that I did finally start to take pride in my Jewishness. It's important to spend time with people, not only with people like you, but also with those who aren't like you, so you can develop an understanding of those who are different, but also a greater understanding of yourself and your identity. I mean, I guess that's the biggest lesson I've learned from this experience. And to end this off, some advice to future Barb Mitzvahs. Make sure to practice weekly, because I know for a fact that I certainly didn't, and I can still remember the embarrassment I felt knowing I didn't practice each week, and I was still fortunate enough, of course, to have a pretty good bar mitzvah, but you might not be as lucky as me, so make sure to practice. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Zoe Brooks, and I'm proud to be the valedictorian for this year's graduating class. Thank you. Thank you. Dear Temple Beth Avoda, my relationship with you has been a lot more complicated than I wanted it to be. It's safe to say that after my bat mitzvah, I totally stood you up. Seeing you twice a year quickly fell to zero, and shortly, you no longer were a part of my life. Years later, when I was more mature, I wanted you back. Going to Israel was the best decision I've ever made. Not only did I create relationships that I hold very close to my heart, but it also helped me reconnect to my Jewish identity. When we got home from that trip, I knew I wanted you in my life again permanently. I began attending Min Rasha, TAing, and became a part of the Teen Leadership Council and Bagel Board. Our relationship could not be stronger, but it is true what they say, all good things must come to an end. Thank you for showing me kindness, even throughout the years I was gone. Thank you for giving me a group of people that I will be able to count on for the rest of my life. And thank you for not giving up on me, even if it seemed like I had given up on you. You have helped me grow into the woman that I am today, and I will forever be grateful for that. No TBA, this is not a breakup letter, because it's not a goodbye, just to see you later. And to the fifth graders sitting here tonight, unsure of what path they may choose for their future with the temple, just remember, regardless of what path you choose, the light will always be on. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Zach Fish, and though you've already heard it a few times, I'm also going to say a little bit about Israel, too, so get ready for that. But yeah, I first want to thank Rabbi Stern, who also happened to be my teacher this year. We had really a lot of great discussions in that class, so I really appreciate that. Miriam, of course, and we are sad to see you go. and all the other awesome educators and staff responsible for making this temple a place that I've looked forward to coming to for as long as I can remember. From when I started here in preschool to this year, as I am graduating as a senior in high school, you guys have really made this place feel like a second home to me. It's almost hard to explain, but I'm sure all the other Midrashah kids can understand what I mean when I say I truly enjoy coming here every Monday night. It's such a good group of kids, and we talk and get along really nicely, regardless of school background or differences. People just generally seem like they want to listen to and help each other. The standout of many things I remember about continuing post-bar mitzvah with the temple was going to Israel. Traveling around with our two awesome tour guides from place to place is an experience that I will never forget. After going to Hebrew school for so many years, the environment did not feel forced at all and ends up being a fairly small and cohesive group. The ones that do end up staying all have quite a respect for each other and enjoy each other's company. This makes it better because only the ones that generally want to be here are. It makes such a difference. Quick shout out to all my fellow grads. I know you guys will all move on to do great things. I really encourage every post B'nai Mitzvah student to at least give Midrashah a try. It really is a big difference to what has happened in years past. And through the things that we've talked about and the relationships I've made here, my definition of being Jewish has evolved to what it is today. Being Jewish to me used to mean that I came to this building to go to services and pray, and eventually would have a bar mitzvah. Though I still do think of Judaism as those things, it means so much more. It means community, a rich history, positive values, and awesome people. A special thanks again to everyone who makes the temple run so smoothly and who makes Midrashah possible. Thank you.
On page 511 is the prayer Mishaberach. It's a prayer that we sing together every week that reminds us of our obligation to reach out to those who are ill, those who are in need. There is so much healing that needs to be done, and each of us in our own way can provide that through tenderness and open-heartedness and an understanding of the other as part of ourselves. Before we sing together, it is our custom to invite you who are here and you who are at home to say aloud the names of those you're thinking about, that we might share together names of people who are in need of healing, and how we connect them all together and how we pray together is a way of thinking about making that possible, the possibility of prayer and healing. So if you'll say their names now.
Julie Silverman, Jessica Silverman, Jen Silverman,
David
Petro.
Rich Rogers, Laura.
Mishaberach Avoteinu Mikor habracha Limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach Imotenu Mekor Habracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. I would like to invite our graduates to please rise and join me up here over there by, but before I do that, I'm getting more signals than Jay Leno used to get. Okay, come on over. I didn't mean to short you out, man.
It's okay.
Okay, you're on.
I'm on.
Let me just hold the mic.
I'll strap it up here.
Let's.
All right, thank you for that pleasant introduction.
You are so pleasantly welcome.
On a crisp fall morning, I got unstrapped from my car seat and was greeted in front of Temple, right here where we're all sitting, and was given a Welcome to TBA preschool book. I walked down the stairs, gripping my mother's arm, ready to begin my first day in the All-Stars. I was greeted by Charlie Zucker, and we instantly played baseball around the carpet. Since that day, I have called TBA my home. I was lucky enough to have my very own All-Star Shabbat, where I got a poster all about me. Although I am 13 years older than I was then, my poster, which still hangs on my closet door, tells many things, some of which are still true today. Green, still my favorite color. I still don't have any pets, and I still find Curious George to be a great read. What this should tell you is that while I've certainly grown up during my time at Temple, I cherish the moments I had in my early schooling. As a kid, Temple instilled strong morals and taught me the right way to treat myself and others. Although Tuesday and Sunday classes sometimes seem monotonous, the repeated visits led me to form tight bonds with my classmates and others. The best part about Temple for me has been the people I have met along the way. It seems that even when we have not seen each other in years, we still have connections. With that being said, it seems like a great time in my speech to give a little bit of advice to the 5th grade class. So, when you walk into this building, get to know those around you. The laughs and memories will be worth it. After my bar mitzvah, I made the decision to continue my education. This brought great opportunities from trips to sleepovers and more. Flash forward to February of 2020, rather infamous time to talk about nowadays, yet for me, it happens to be one of the highlights of my life. I'd gone to Israel with my family 2 years prior, but nothing could have prepared me for the 10th grade Israel trip. For weeks and months after our trip, our TBA community was so very strong. While now, bits of that may have dissipated, the bond between us hold to this very day, and that is something I am very grateful for. I would be remiss not to mention what TBA has taught me in terms of Judaism. My long run of education here has led me to a wide encounter of teachers and stories. All in all, I have learned to give back, to treat people with respect, and to stand up for what I believe in. These skills, experiences, and friendships will carry me through my next chapter in Judaism and in my life. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Anna. So before my family and I came to TBA, I didn't have much of a connection to Judaism. Should I move it down? Yeah. He's too tall for me. My Jewish community was previously limited to the members of my temple, where most of the people were upwards of 60 years old. We came to TBA, and the road to my bat mitzvah felt a little bit smoother. I came to temple on both Sundays and Tuesdays. I studied for my bat mitzvah, not because I understood the significance, but because these were the things I was expected to do. To me, my bat mitzvah was the final step in my journey as a Jewish woman, an end to my time at Hebrew school. Midrasha was never even something I considered. I had never thought about coming back to the temple for weekly visits. But my mother, who knows me better than I do sometimes, made a deal with me. I had to go for 1 month, and if I hated it, I never had to go back. I refuse to admit it, but I think it's pretty obvious how that turned out. I applied for Bagel Board at the end of my freshman year, per Miriam's request, and was ecstatic when I heard I got a position. Perhaps the most important Jewish thing to happen to me, however, was deciding to go to the Israel trip during my sophomore year. I'd spent a maximum of 2 hours a week with the other people going on the trip, yet it was a no-brainer for me. Those 10 days in Israel changed my perspective in more ways than I could have imagined. I felt a connection to my religion and to Israel I had never been able to feel before. When I came home, I found that I was much more proud and aware of my Jewish identity. It became one of the biggest factors that impacted my college search, as I was looking for a community that gave me the same sense of belonging that TBA has given me. I also had a new perspective on my relationships within the temple. We all began as classmates in 3rd grade, all of us packed into a classroom learning Hebrew vowels together. Through my time at TBA and my experiences in Israel and on Bagel Board, I have created so many meaningful connections that I would not have been able to make elsewhere. Thank you all for making my time at TBA so special and giving me a warm place to come home to in the future. You have become so much more than just my Hebrew school classmates, and I will always be thankful for you. This also extends, of course, to the adults at the temple. Thank you for creating one of the most caring and welcoming communities I have ever been part of. Thank you, Miriam, for supporting me since the second you came to TBA until the very end. I joined the temple as a shy 3rd grader who didn't make friends for a lot longer than I'd like to admit. Now, I can confidently say that my community here at Temple has shaped the past few years of my life, who I am now, and the next steps I'm going to take. I'm so grateful for my Judaism for allowing me to make genuine and personal relationships with all members of the temple, from the less familiar faces at Midrasha to Rabbi himself. One of my goals as Bagel president was to make outreach more personal so each person felt welcome and wanted. I wanted to create the same warm community for the next generation of shy or hesitant teens. My piece of advice for the 5th graders, although you may not like this, is that you should listen to your parents when they encourage you to try Midrasha. I guarantee you will love it. I'm so thankful for my experience, for the TBA community, and for my own mother for forcing me into Midrasha.
So many things come to mind with each of these, just a narrative each child brings along, which I won't share now, but it's extraordinary. They are extraordinary, but now you see. I'd like to invite the 5th graders to please come forward. 5th graders, please. You can leave your binders on the chair. We just need you, not them. Now, I hope that somewhere in your memory you have logged in the sage advice of all of these graduates, all these 12th graders. Clearly something good was happening that kept them coming back year after year after year, etc. Most of all, I want you to know that what you receive here is part of something that already belongs to you. Being Jewish is about having a treasure that you spend a lifetime exploring and utilizing and celebrating in the best of your best times and in really sad times too. Ways to learn and grow and be what someone might have told you was a mensch. To be a good person working hard to do and be the right thing. We're not perfect. Maybe your parents have told you this. You're not perfect. None of us are. With all of our flaws, we try when we're ready and willing to do our best. And that's what being a mensch is all about. So tonight, I have a blessing for you. May God bless you on this Shabbat. May God give you good health. May God give you challenges that are hard, but not too hard. May God give you friends and hope and laughter. May God give you in your moments of studying insight and compassion. And when your Barb mitzvah comes, and it's not as grim as some of them said, by the way. Just want to clarify. When you are at your bar bat mitzvah, standing on the bima that I know all of you know that place so well, I hope that you will see all of the joy and all of the treasure that is already yours. Amen. I'd like to invite Miriam and Heidi forward with a special presentation to our 5th grade graduates.
So 5th grade, congratulations on making it this far. You all have learned so much already and you have so much left to learn. But in honor of completing the first 5 years at our religious school, we do have a certificate of completion for you. So I think...
Make it official.
Really official. So we're your bat mitzvah certificate. So Jake Olander. Eli Oliver. Sonia. And Shayna. And last but not least, Annika.
And I would just like to add that this is really an incredible group of 5th graders. I've been here for a long time in a lot of different capacities, and we've never even had this many 5th graders show up to the graduation. As well as what Rabbi said in the beginning, really learning and sharing and growing together. It's been an amazing year. So thank you all.
And now, would the graduating seniors please approach the bench? And if you'll please come over here and stand behind the table. A couple of things I think of when I look at these kids and I hear about the Israel trip. When these 12th graders were in Israel on a kibbutz, really, parents, now I'll tell you the truth, really close to the Gaza border. I mean, they could see Gaza from where they were standing. We're talking close. And one of the things they did was talk to a member of the kibbutz that they were visiting, Kibbutz Niri. An old friend from Young Judea on year course, 1972, was their host. And on her phone, they called me because I couldn't be with them because I was about to have open heart surgery. And I remember seeing them and feeling such a sense of connection and love. And it meant so much to me to see you. You are people who will always have an asterisk next to your name. All of your accomplishments in school will have an asterisk because you are part of the COVID-educated generation. You spent time sitting in your rooms, looking in a computer screen, and sometimes looking at it, but sometimes just spacing out, turning off the screen, listening to your poor teachers desperately grasp in the darkness, seeking to try to convey the lessons that they were under contract to give you. You were sometimes right in there and sometimes completely somewhere else. You took tests, and of course, they weren't necessarily open book, but hey, when you're, taking a test online, I know I've heard the stories, without revealing any names, you have an asterisk next to your names. But I want you to know something. Given all that, you are extraordinary, and what you've achieved is extraordinary. I know there were not always easy times. You had to navigate a whole new reality. The very nature of studying online meant that you were isolated sometimes, and that isolation in study was easily turned into an isolation from everybody else in your house. Sometimes you would see your family at one meal or two, and then you were in your room, door was closed. And everybody was feeling overwhelmed. And look at you now. I can't say on the other side of the pandemic because I still don't see where that side is. But you have been in school, in person, learning and growing, and your achievements, as far as I'm concerned, should not be suspect, but should be raised up. Should be raised up, as should you. It has been such a deep honor to be your rabbi. Charlie, I remember you kicking and screaming. I remember your bar mitzvah. Jacob, you did okay. But your parents lost all their nails during the days leading up to it. I could tell stories about it, but I won't. What I will share with you is a great sense of love and a great sense of hope in who each one of you is and what you have the capacity to do. As I always say to every graduating class, those of you, whether you're going to college next year or taking a gap year, no matter what it is you're doing, be bold. Be bold. If you're going to college, take a crazy class. Take something you would never otherwise, just something weird. Just because you can. Don't follow any established order on anything. Find intellectual pursuits, embrace them. You might find something, maybe you'll find nothing. Maybe it'll be a waste of a couple credits. But you'll have explored and expanded your minds. Another thing, don't be stupid. Obviously, you're going to be on your own. You're going to be experiencing all kinds of stuff. There'll be no adult supervision, and you will be tempted to do all kinds of things. And I can only say, just don't be stupid, right? Don't. Look, as the father of 5 children, 3 daughters, I could go on, but I won't. Just to say, be careful who you trust. Listen carefully. Go with your intuition, not what you think will be popular on your floor, in your fraternity, sorority, whatever group you're living with, if you are. Use your sense of ethics that you've learned to live a life that is worthy of respect. Don't worry about our respect, that you can respect yourselves. Respect yourself. That will be the biggest goal. And when you screw that up, because you probably will, at least, a couple times. I pray just a couple times. Don't lose sight of the true north compass that you have to right yourself and to keep going. Because that's who you are. The asterisk means you are resilient, you are beautiful, you are capable. And now, a blessing I did over you, that you're, for some of you, baby naming, bar mitzvah, bat mitzvah, here at the temple, our special evening Thursday night, and here again tonight. Yivrachecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. May God's countenance shine on you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha vayasem lecha shalom. May God's countenance shine upon you, lighting the way for you to find your path of wisdom, of glory, of celebration, of wholeness, of shalom. Amen.
So we do have something small from the temple for you all. So, oh, it's just gonna fall. We can unpack one just to show you fifth graders what you'll be getting when you graduate. This is a time-honored TBA tradition. So, this is, yeah. So, do you want to unpack it? No, like a gift? No, Zoe, unpack it. Okay, but don't read the card yet. Okay, just take everything out. I will say what it is. I used to take it out. So they get a TBA water bottle. They get a TBA water bottle with candy inside for like a sweet new start, a sweet fresh start. And then the time-honored TBA tradition is their TBA quarter zip fleece. So all of our graduates get one of these. Ben, where's he? Oh. What am I? Oh yeah. That. Sit. Jacob. Brady. Brady.
Wow, that's
Charlie.
I should have done it. What I was thinking. Oh my god. You guys already know what's in it. You don't need to. Yeah. You're welcome. I don't know what size. Should have modeled it. What would I hate? Do it now. I know. You guys actually what size? You guys still buy, right?
I'd like to ask all of the graduates' parents to stand up, please. All the graduates' parents. I think a round of applause is called for. I'd like to ask you to remain standing at this time as Susan blesses our graduates, because really you are such an essential part of this blessing as well. And we thank you for your persistence, for your belief in what we do, and for the love that you've showered on these children, because what they radiate is the hard work of parenthood. Some of the stuff that when we're young we don't really imagine is part of this job, but it is. And I hope tonight you realize that the dividend is the nachas that you get from a moment like this.
You've all been there on the bima, and you've heard this before. Most of your parents know this by heart, so I invite you to sing with me. May God bless you with all good. May God keep all evil. May God keep all evil from you. And may God fill your heart with wisdom and grace you with all truth. May God lift up God's merciful face and shine on you for all time. And may God grant you
eternal peace. May God grant you peace. May God grant you peace. May God grant you eternal peace.
You can be seated. Thank you so much. As many of you know, or if you don't, I'm going to tell you. By the way, those of you that really don't know, the kids have been talking about bagel and bagel board. You're like, what the heck? It's our youth group, Beth Avodah Youth Guild League or whatever. Those names were put for how 50 years ago they made? Oh, yeah. But anyway, that's Bagel is our youth group. And so many of these kids have been actively involved in it. Miriam has been our fearless leader for 4 years. She has showered our children with love. She is such a direct, honest, compassionate soul. And we are enormously thankful for all the things that she's done for our kids. They're some of the toughest times of their lives. Heidi and Miriam together were kind of like coaches, really. Not just teachers, really coaches. Really people there to define how to do this life the right way. And it's not easy. But they, I can qualitatively say, have made a difference. Miriam, I know you have some words to say, and I want to say, on behalf of all of us here, thank you for sharing your love, your expertise, and your authentic, open heart.
Good evening. It seems only fair that I read a speech since I asked all the seniors to read a speech. So, as many of you have heard, I started my first year teaching this group, our current seniors in 9th grade. They were the first group I taught, and I've always felt a special connection to them. They were the first group I took on a trip to New York, and they were the first and unfortunately only group I got to travel to Israel with. Over the past 4 years, we have made many memories together. We laughed, we cried, I coined the phrase phone jail, ice cream was spilled on the wall, we sung Under the Stars in Israel, and so much more. I can confidently say that this is a special group of teens. I have watched them transform into smart, funny, and caring young adults who genuinely care to make the space a safe one for all and make all feel included. This cohort is taking care of each other in a genuine way, keeping each other sane through the pandemic through our group chats, checking in on someone who's missed Midrashah a few weeks in a row. Thinking about this grade, these students are so different in their personalities, but one thing that connects them all is their leadership. I have never seen a group of teens who are so strongly involved in their communities, whether it's the lead in their school play, on their school committees, or other various activities. These teens work so hard in their community and at Temple Beth Avoda, both on Teen Leadership Council and Bagel Board, as many of them mentioned. As busy as they all are, they never let that stop them from coming to Temple. They would bring their homework, they would come late, they would come just for dinner, just to see each other. They have been fantastic role models to our younger grades. Seniors, the bond you have made with each other is something special. I hope you will continue to ask what's for dinner on Monday nights in our group chats and continue to grow on the foundations you have built over the past 4 years. You have all found a special place here, and I look forward to seeing the ways that you make other spaces feel safe. While this space will always be yours, and as you continue to learn and grow, I hope you continue to seek out communities to make them feel safe and appreciate you for your true selves. TBA will miss each and every one of you and the unique light you bring to our community. You will always have a home here, and we look forward to hearing about your amazing journeys to come. Shabbat Shalom.
So I have the privilege of being the director of education here, and wow, I'm overcome with everything these kids have shared tonight. And I just wanted to take a moment to thank Miriam, because she's going to be leaving at the end of the month for a new position. And I just have to say that working with you over this time has been so special. I've seen you learn and grow like one of the kids and become a real leader. It has been an absolute pleasure and joy working with you. This is just a small token of all the family's appreciation and something for you to take to your new home to remember us every time you walk in.
We take this moment to remember those who are not with us, whom death has taken in this season and in years past. In moments like this, we remember people that would have loved to be here, that would have appreciated the notion of from generation to generation. People that are still in our hearts, who remain always part of a larger consciousness. And so on this Erev Shabbat, we remember the following individuals. We remember Jeffrey Feiner, whose Shloshim is being observed for these next 28 days. We also acknowledge the recent passing of Nathan Schlenker, Howard's dad. The family will be having a minyan on Tuesday at their home, Tuesday at 7 p.m. And remember these folks whose yahrzeit observances come up this week. Leah Agger, Sumner Aronson, Arthur Barber, Richard Barth, Fran Berger, Joseph Berman, Harriet Brinkman, Cynthia Cohen, Manuel Cohen, Sarah Cohen, Philip Felkoff, Isaac Fox, Gregory Gilbert, Joseph Glicksman, Carolyn Gottlieb, Maurice Hanauer, Sidney Horwit, Doris Julius, Charlotte Kaplan, Pauline Karen, Ida Kaufman, Minna Levine, Elliot Lipson, Lillian Mahler, Arnold Miller, Edwin Minsky, Sumner Queen, Bessie Ralby, Adelaide Rappaport, Harold Rottenberg, Ada Rovner, Harold Rubin, David Rubin, Emma Sapsovitz, Thelma Sawyer, Bernadine Shapiro, Charlotte Swordman, Milton Spitz, Elsa Wasserman, Muriel Wise, Edward Wolfe. The memories of all of them are with us as we rise, as we are able, and turn to the Kaddish on page 598. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, Bialma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayichon v'yomeichon v'chayedecha Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen, Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam me'almei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei kudsha b'richu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, ta'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shamaya, v'chayim aleinu v'el kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'el kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who brings peace to the heavens bring peace to us, to all Israel, to all the world. And we all say, Amen. If you'll be seated, Carol Rodenstein, our president, has some words to speak, announcements and mazel tovs and all kinds of stuff.
Mazel tov to everyone, for sure. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom, everyone out there as well. Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you, Susan. And thank you, graduates. I also want to take this moment to wish well to the May Mitzvah families for tomorrow. It's going to be an amazing day that you will never forget, and you guys will be just outstanding, I know. So for you seniors and you parents of seniors, I've been there twice with Midrashah graduation. And did you break out the tissues? Because I had for mine. I can tell you, it's an incredible feeling, and you guys should feel congratulated as well, because you raised incredible children that we all got to experience tonight. And for the fifth graders and the fifth grade parents, you go, because there's something to look forward to that's even better than tonight. So we thank you. So what's coming up? Sunday, Torah class and knitting class, 10 a.m., not together, they're separate, but please come to one or the other, or maybe both, I guess. We have a baby and parent play group that starts on Monday, so if you know anyone who has a baby under the age of 9 months, Monday at 9 to 10, please encourage them to come. It's okay, a week from Monday. And Heidi knows more than I do, so see Heidi if you have any questions about it. Sounds good. We also have a Rabbi Deep Dive on Wednesday at 7 p.m. That is online only. We have a game night on Thursday at 7:30 p.m., which is in person only. And it's hard to play the games online. And next week, Jazz Shabbat, both here and online. So come whichever media works for you. And then on Sunday, May 22nd at 11 a.m., we have Chubby Chickpea. It's really hard to say that without laughing. Chubby Chickpea food truck. And in our parking lot, we have Israeli dancing. Come on and eat, dance. I love to dance, so come do both. And I just have to take one more second to thank Miriam. We will miss you, and you did an amazing, amazing job. Thank you for being our light. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Folks, if you would please rise as you're able for Kiddush and Motzi. I'd like to invite our Benot Mitzvah, Ella. Come on up. Don't worry, don't freak. It's okay, all good. Where's up? Hi, Orly. I think we'll avoid touching the challah, but as long as you're close by. I can't really hold the cup. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri agafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu V'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon inchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit Yehu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim Kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uv'ratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. L'chaim, l'chaim. All right, now, oh, you're going to have to do this. Orly is not able to pick up that challah cover, but you can. Et voila. Now, if you would please pick that challah up. Beautiful. And if we can, together as a trio, I'll stand in between. If we can, together, lead everybody in the motzi. You ready? You ready? Don't drop it. Well, 5 seconds. I can grab it. 1, 2, 3. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
This is for you, Sid. you go, there's always someone Jewish. You're never alone when you say you're
Pembroke
a
girls,
Jew.
sing along.
So when I'm a Pembroke girl too, and you're somewhere kind of newish. The odds are don't look far, 'cause they're Jewish too. And we'll end there. I don't remember anymore. Wherever you go, there's always someone Jewish. You're never alone when you say you're a Jew. So when you're not home and you're somewhere kind of newish, the odds are don't look far, there's Jews just like you.
Shabbat
Thank
to everybody.
you
Mazel
for that
tov, mazel tov.
reminder.
Come up for a shtickle of challah, and if you turn to the tables over there, there is a delightful oneg Shabbat. Please partake. Mazel tov to all of you. Mazel tov.